welcome back to my channel, and today I have for you a very exciting video. It is going to be all about what I consider to be the best permanent palettes. With all the new makeup releasing and so many like limited edition items, I feel like it's sometimes good to take a step back and be like, okay, what is permanent? What is a palette that I can get that if I run out of it, I can go out and buy a new one? Because sometimes it's good to have those staples in our collection that we can always go back to and know that they will be there for us and that we can count on the formulas that we're getting in these palettes. It is just so important to remember the permanent things in life. As always, please don't forget to like and subscribe and tap that notification bell to be notified of more videos. And let's just get down into the palettes. The first palette I have to talk about, I'm sure will come as no surprise to you if you've been on my channel for any amount of time, and that is the beloved Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance. This palette is just phenomenal on so many levels. It is so unique and versatile and amazing. I just love it. What I feel makes this palette a standout is the fact that you have all your wonderful, just normal, warm tone, neutral shades that can take you through the day, through work, through school, whatever, you know, job interviews. And then come night, when you want to get a little sassy, you have these beautiful and unique red tones, this gorgeous orange right here, this cypress umber. Oh my goodness, this brown shade right here is life for deepening up that crease. This palette is just top notch on every single level. It has great pigmentation. It blends like a dream. They wear beautifully. It is a phenomenal palette. And the fact that Anastasia Beverly Hills were like, yes, we're going to listen to people. We're going to make it permanent, I feel is just a great sign of a good company who is willing to listen to their consumers and know when a product is going to really stand out for them. It is just phenomenal. I highly recommend this if you are into warm tones, reds, whatevers, or even if you just love eyeshadow. I mean, this palette is just really amazing and is definitely one of my top 5. This one is an amazing permanent palette. I feel like I would be ill-advised if I did not include some of my favorite eyeshadows, and that is going to be the Lorac Pro palette family. I love Lorac shadows. I have only ever had one dud in the entire collection of Lorac that I have, and they are just so phenomenal. Now, the reason I have all 3 here is because I honestly love them all equally. So if you're in the market for one of these, definitely go in and see which one suits what, you know, warm, cool, you know, neutral that you're looking for, but all 3 of these are phenomenal. Now, as much as I love all 3, I must say my favorite is probably the first one, just because this palette gives me everything. Like I said, if you've been on my channel for any amount of time, you know that my makeup isn't always for the normal consumer. So I like to do my vampire, undead, you know, living doll makeup, and I can achieve that with this palette. It has this beautiful light pink, the mauve, the brown here. It is just an amazing palette, and I love the fact that you have the matte and the shimmers. The ratio is perfect. This palette is amazingly thought out. I just love it so much. And the quality is just, ugh. Every time I use my Lorac Pro palettes, I feel so happy. I enjoy the look that I come out with, and it is always absolutely stunning. So this is the Lorac Pro 1. This is the 2, much more cool tone. I absolutely love this nectar and this cool gray shades. They are staples in my entire collection. I love the jade. I've used the snow one a lot. Just a phenomenal palette. The formula does not vary on any of these. It is just standout on each and every single one. And then we have the newest and probably, in my opinion, the least versatile of all of them. This is the Lorac Pro 3. I do love the pink nude here, this terracotta shade. I love the clay, the cool. I mean, basically, I'm obsessed with the top row, all of these mattes. Not as impressed with the array of shimmers that it has. They are all very good quality. So I would recommend all three of these, and I think they are top-notch permanent palettes. I'm sure you guys saw this coming. This is the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I love this palette. This is one of my favorites. Every time I see someone say, I don't like the Sweet Peach palette, or it's a product I regret buying, I like get personally offended, and I know we're not supposed to do that, but I do. I just love this palette so much. This row right here is the bomb. This shade, this shade, this shade. I mean, there isn't a shade in here that I don't love. It performs well. I love the looks that I get out of this, and I feel like I can get a lot of different looks. A lot of people complain about, well, I feel like I get the same look every time I use it. Well, I feel like I'm able to get, some nice deep vampy looks. I can do some nice, fresh, colorful looks. I just love this palette so much. I am bonkers about the smell. It is amazing. I mean, this Summer Yum and this Puree shade right here, phenomenal. All up in that crease, all over I could just use this palette for so many different things, and I absolutely love it. So glad that they made it permanent. I will definitely probably need to buy it back up because I love it so much. Then we have kind of an OG of makeup is the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. This palette, I feel, is almost like the end-all, be-all, all matte palette. It is just so good. Kat formulas just give me life. They are so good. And what is nice and unique about this palette is the fact that you get quads, quote unquote. You have your section here, your section here, and your section here. So it's kind of goof-proof done that way. And of course you can mix and match and do whatever you want. But what I love is the fact that you have this, you've got your warm tones, you have your cool tones, and you have your neutrals. This palette just offers so much to the user. Shadow quality is phenomenal. They're smooth, they're pigmented. Kat Von D shadows are honestly, in my opinion, the easiest to blend on the market. You just dip your brush in and you go in and it just blends out effortlessly. Even like a harsh shade like this black, and let me tell you, her black is my holy grail black. It is just pigmented and amazing, and it blends out gorgeously. I love this palette. And I feel like if you need that all matte palette that just has everything you need to make a unique look on its own, but also this is an amazing companion palette to basically any other palette you own. You're just like, oh, okay, I need a matte shade for this. Boom. I need a matte shade for that. Boom. It's just so good. It is well thought out. The quality is amazing. It's cruelty-free and vegan, so yay for that. It is just amazing. I highly, highly recommend, honestly, any eyeshadow palette from Kat Von D, but she has recently discontinued a lot of her palettes, so this one's still on the market. Go out and get you some Kat Von D Shade and Light. The next palette actually comes from a brand that I don't buy a lot from, and that is from Tarte. This is their Tartist Pro. I do have the Tartelette in Bloom and the original Tartelette palette, and I do like both of those. They're just neutral palettes. I have a bunch of neutral palettes, but when this one released, and I was like, oh, it's a neutral palette, but it has this red and this orange and these kind of warmy modern Renaissance-esque shadows, and then you have these shimmers here. I was sold. I was so sold, and I feel like it is one of the most unique things that Tarte has come out with that is also really good quality. I just absolutely love this palette so much. I apologize for the crazy glare going on here, but this is such a good palette. Honestly, if all of Tarte's palettes were this quality, I would be buying them left and right. But Tarte is such an inconsistent brand that you honestly can't be like, oh, well, yes, of course, this one, they're going to all be the same. No, not going to be all the same. But this one is phenomenal. The shades are beautiful. They're unique. You have a versatile range of just, you can do so many things like the modern Renaissance. You can create a nice, simple, easygoing look, but then when you want to take it up a bit, you have all these beautiful, unique shades, these gorgeous shimmers right here. It is just like the Kat Von D palette, a well thought out palette that really adds to one's collection and really makes for a good, experience. Let's talk some Urban Decay. Now, Urban Decay has some of my favorite palettes, but they're limited edition. We're talking their Vice palettes. We're talking that Alice in Wonderland palette. They have so many palettes that I absolutely love that are limited edition. Urban Decay and Too Faced, I feel like two of the worst brands for pushing out those limited edition products. So I want to think though and be like, what palettes do I absolutely love from them that are permanent? And the first two that come to my mind are the original Naked palette and the Naked 3. Obviously, there is the Naked 2 and the Naked Heat, which is on its way to me. I have it back ordered, so we'll get back on that. But these two palettes are just absolutely beautiful. I love the Naked one because it is I look at this palette and I think this is a gorgeous palette. When I want those beautiful warm toned neutrals, this is something that I would definitely reach for. I feel like the mattes are kind of lacking because this thing has two freaking mattes and everything else is shimmers. Now I know Urban Decay are known for their, crazy shimmery, not everyday makeup, but it is just so aesthetically pleasing and the quality is really there with this palette. It is gorgeous. And every time I create a look with this palette, I love how it turns out. It is just so beautiful. I love how it looks, and it honestly rekindles my love for neutrals because usually I go a little bit crazy and I like color and red and orange, but when I do want the neutrals, I definitely go for this palette. Half Baked right here. Oh my goodness, I love Naked and Buck. Both of the matte shades in here are stunning. Gunmetal is gorgeous right here. Virgin, Small. The whole palette is just beautiful to look at. When I think of neutrals, I really do think of these rich, decadent, delicious colors. Definitely love the Naked one. Limit just fell out of my Naked 3. It's going to be a little bit awkward now, but I have my finger over this Limit shade so it doesn't cough back up on you guys. But this is the Naked 3. I love me some rosy tones. I'm actually wearing it on my eyes today. I am wearing Limit all over the lid, and then I have, let's see here, Burnout, I think, all over the lid here, and then I have Nooner under the eye here. I love this palette. I adore rosy, red, pink tones, basically anything that makes me look dead. I know that is a common complaint for people with this palette. They're like, oh, the eyeshadows just make me look kind of dead. And I'm like, I know, that's what I love about it. It's so amazing. It goes for my aesthetic. But if you love those rosy tones and you want a good high quality palette where a shadow will occasionally pop out on you, then I definitely recommend the Naked 3. I'm just kidding, guys. I love this palette. I'll just fix that shadow. But I absolutely love this. The shades I feel are a little bit, similar in tone more than, say, the Naked 1 or the Naked 2. But I kind of like that about it because honestly, when I go into this palette, I kind of have a very similar look in my mind where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that, rosy toned, dead eye look, whatever, which I can achieve in, different finishes. Like the Naked 3, there are only, there's 3 mattes in this one. Naked 3, 3 mattes. So it is not an exceptionally versatile palette, I feel, but I really love it and I would highly recommend it. And I do think it is one of the best permanent palettes on the market right now. And I wanted to include a fun Urban Decay palette because I feel that's what Urban Decay does best. I cannot include the Urban Decay Electric palette because it is being discontinued. Urban Decay, that's stupid. But I wanted to include a fun palette, and so the Urban Decay Moondust. Now this palette was kind of, booed and whatever when it came out because people were like, oh, It's not, you know, super crazy, whatever pigmented, but what you do get are, I mean, if anyone used their single shadows that were this formula, they would know what they were getting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, those shadows are called the Moon Dust shadows, so I don't know what they were expecting. You get this beautiful range of just beautiful, like, glittery, you know, gorgeous top coats. I honestly actually love wearing these just straight up all over the lid. I mean, that's all I'll wear. I'll just, you know, put a little glitter glue down and just all over the lid. And I love the looks that they're just, it's so simple, but it's so beautiful. I mean, let me just, this element one right here. I mean, I don't know why people saying that's not pigmented. That looks pigmented to me. Maybe I just got a super good palette. But I feel if you're looking for something like super fun and, you know, adventurous, and you want to try color, but you don't want like a crazy matte blue or matte red or matte green, this is something where you can add a little bit of color to your look without really going crazy. And the shadows are absolutely beautiful. I love this palette. I use it a lot for just, you know, doing the one eyeshadow look, or when I want to add that little touch of extra to my eyeshadow look. It is just so beautiful and a really great palette. I think Urban Decay actually did a really good job on this by offering a whole bunch of shades that weren't available in their singles. So you could honestly try those out in this palette, and then if you loved the formula, go out and invest in all the others, or vice versa. Try one of them and then get this whole palette. It's just, I love this. It is a lot of fun and I really enjoy using it. And if you like color, or if you want to invest in a bit of color or a little glitter in your life, definitely pick up the Urban Decay Moon Dust palette. Okay guys, there we have it, my best permanent palettes. Please let me know down in the comments below, do you like these palettes as much as I do? What's your favorite permanent palette? So let me know down in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!